Well, good day from central Iowa, and I would like to say that it's really nice and sunny today, but it is not. It is chilly and windy and 30 degrees. But I was looking at the Minneapolis Star and Tribune online, which is a real treat because that is really some good news. Lots of news, lots of pictures. Still has a full-fledged newspaper going. It does not seem to be shrinking much like my local Des Moines Register. I was thinking about this time of year is, for me, a memorable time of year because this is when my father would make sure that we had all the guilt built up and we're ready to go no matter where we lived. It is getting ready for the fishing opener. And the fishing opener in Minnesota is a really big deal. That means that there are many men and women, mostly men, that will get up. The sun will rise about 5:30, 5:45, and it will be up for maybe 10, 15 minutes because it's 6 o'clock a.m. on May 14th. The fishing season begins. Now, the Minneapolis Star reminded me with a couple of really good articles, so I'm going to read those because it's like walking down memory lane for me. And as I get older, and I'm sure as you get older, you walk down memory lane when you have some free time, and they're normally always good thoughts. You don't think of the nasty times. You can, but then you sort of laugh it off. In my case, chipping ice off the edge of the boat and being careful that you don't slip on the dock because there's frost and a little ice on the dock. May 14th can be a shaky day as far as weather. We've had big snowstorms in the Midwest in April, and we've had some snow in May too. So anyway, according to the Minneapolis Star, by some accounts, the Minnesota fishing opener is a joyful experience, kicking off the summer season with a blast of good fellowship and a hearty celebration of the state's natural resources. The Minneapolis Star's own research is admittedly anecdotal and less positive. When you are sitting in an aluminum boat at sunup with your teeth chattering, the wind gnawing at your Gore-Tex, and the fish ignoring you, the opener can be a test of endurance. You may stop believing in a higher power. Now, for about 500,000 to 1 million Minnesotans head north for the opener. I can remember many times we'd go out there and we'd have bacon and eggs and hot coffee at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning because Dad wanted to get out onto Leech Lake and find or control what he thought was his favorite fishing spot. Sometimes we'd get out there, we'd be the only one. I mean, we would be cold, it would be windy, and then all of a sudden, there'd be 5 boats, then there'd be 8 boats, then there'd be a dozen boats. And sometimes we last for a couple hours. Sometimes we last for 3 hours or 4 hours. I'm telling you, it's the longest wait ever on the opener. That excitement and that thrill of, or the expectation of getting that first big walleye or that first big northern. is built into many, many Minnesotans or those from Wisconsin. Now, according to the Star, you may stop believing in fish. If you know any secrets, you may be willing to tell all should someone promise to get you off the water and into an environment more friendly to human life. Multiply that boat by a factor of 50 or 70, and you begin to approximate the armada that in a typical year attends the governor's fishing opener. Somewhere in that fleet, probably in a sheltered bay and attended by professional guides, is the governor. Also plying these waters are media types, civic leaders, outfitters, and others whose livelihoods are linked to tourism. It's no exaggeration to say that everyone in the state shares in the benefits of Minnesota's tourist economy. Explore Minnesota, the state's tourism agency, reports that $1 billion comes into the state's treasury just from the sales tax on leisure and hospitality spending. That's in a normal year. It's been a while since we've had one of those. State tourism officials figure that the pandemic has cost the industry $12 billion. The governor's fishing opener was canceled in 2020 and scaled back in 2021. Maybe that's why people seem so invested in this year's opener. It has to make up for the ones that got away. The trouble is, a successful governor's fishing opener is not something put together on the fly. It is a feat of public and private partnership. Communities compete for the honor of serving as host. Boats have to be rounded up. Volunteers have to be organized. The whole process takes more than a year, and the coronavirus did not allow for that kind of notice. This year's opener consequently made some compromises. There will be no flotilla. Instead, there will be a round table, a media availability, and a take-a-mom fishing weekend. Governor Tim Walz plans to go fishing somewhere on the Leech Lake Reservation May 14th, but the exact body of water, as of this writing, has not been leaked. Governor Walz could claim that other business is more pressing than the fishing opener, but the state's tourism economy is badly in need of a jumpstart. And for a significant slice of the Minnesota population, the fishing opener is a cultural institution, a ritual, and a sacred tradition. Smart politicians see opportunity in those bait buckets, and every governor since 1948 has recognized it. This strikes us as an unforced error. And speaking of errors, while we're mixing our sports metaphors, we hope President Joe Biden gets out to a ballpark sometime soon to hurl a ceremonial first pitch. Every president since William Howard Taft has done so, with the sole exception of Donald Trump. If Biden is worried about the prowess of his arm, he shouldn't be. Just as a Minnesota governor need not actually catch a fish, a president need not throw a strike. The point is to be a good sport, to show up. Plans are already in the works for the 2023 opener. Nothing against moms or fishing or weekends, but take a mom fishing weekend seems awash in outmoded stereotypes. There are moms who already fish, and one who serves as the Minnesota DNR commissioner. There are dads who don't fish. There are families with 2 moms or no moms, 2 dads or no dads. And the governor's fishing opener is no time to make any of them feel excluded. This is one idea that may not be a keeper. We recommend a return to the traditional format with a host community, an in-person governor, more fun, and fewer roundtables. I found that very fascinating because it reminded me, like I said earlier, of all the tradition. I mean, this was the connection where you could be sitting in the boat face to face with your dad. The one time you could talk to him before the drinks started flowing, before you start passing the beer. You'd be sitting in the boat and you could smell the thermos of coffee being opened up and that beautiful smell of fresh brewed coffee coming back to the middle of the boat, and then you could smell that first handmade, hand-rolled cigarette that Dad could very adeptly roll. I mean, even though the boat was rocking back and forth and he had the fishing rod cradled between his arms or propped between his legs. Those are special memories for many, many young men in Minnesota, me included. I think about that at this time of the year, and since I've moved to Iowa, I have not gone to a fishing opener in 30 years, and it is a gap in my system. I miss it, even though there was ice on the edge of the boat and frost on the dock. It was an experience that is embedded in my head. How about women anglers? I know my mother would never go out on the boat, even though they lived right next to Leech Lake. She had a bad experience when she was growing up in that she was taken out into a rowboat with her dad and her dad's best friend, and they would pass a jug back and forth, and it was Mom's responsibility to keep her 3 younger siblings quiet while Grandpa and his best friend would share that jug and stories and talking about what we all talk about when we're fishing, which can be anything. But Mom hated that experience so much that when she moved up to northern Minnesota, up to Leech Lake, up to Walker, Minnesota, she never went out on the boat. She went out a couple of times with Dad, but she said she made a deal with him, don't ever ask me again, and I'll never make a fuss over it. So there are those women that enjoy fishing, but I was not birthed by one who enjoyed fishing, my mother. So she's not part of this group. But anyway, Jennifer Brooks in Minneapolis from the Star wrote a nice article about fishing, and I thought I'd share that today too. This is from Jennifer Brooks. 500,000 Minnesota anglers are counting down the days. Just a few weeks, just a blizzard or two, until the May 2022 fishing opener. Michelle Morey knows exactly where she'll be. On a kayak in a trout-stocked lake, celebrating her own fishing opener tradition. There's hope in every cast, said Morey, president of the 1,100-member-strong Women Anglers of Minnesota. It gets you outside, gives you some tranquility. It gets you one-on-one conversations with the person that you're with, instead of sitting in front of the computer or the TV. In a normal year, she'd check her phone once she got off the lake to see whether the governor had caught a fish yet. In a normal year, a host community would be making final preparations for the movable feast that is the governor's fishing opener, lining up lodging and tours and golf tourneys, marshaling volunteers and boats and fishing guides, packing swag bags full of branded hometown merchandise, bracing for bragging rights. But we haven't had a normal year in years. When state tourism officials cast about for hosts for the 74th annual Governor's Fishing Opener, few communities were eager for the expense, uncertainty, or political baggage of the event. The fishing opener might be called the Governor's, but it's always been organized by and for the host communities. In Ottertail County last year, with tensions simmering over pandemic policy and mask mandates, organizers found that some critics didn't want to host anything with the word governor in the name. Faced with the prospect of a fishing non-opener, Minnesota scaled back. Had the state reached a point where Minnesotans couldn't even fish together? Of course not. The people you fish with are the best part of fishing. Again, I'm going back to my own experience. The people you fish with are the best part of fishing. My dad's best friend had come up to Leech Lake, and they'd talk or wouldn't talk, but they'd spend half a day together out on the lake. The vast majority of Minnesotans don't spend the fishing opener fishing with the governor. They spend the fishing opener fishing with their friends and family, said DNR Commissioner Sarah Stroman, who will celebrate the fishing opener with her son at a Take a Mom fishing event hosted by the Women Anglers of Minnesota. There will be angling activities around the state in May. Governor Tim Walz, who caught only perch at his own walleye opener last year, will be out on the water, and the state tourism officials at Explore Minnesota are already making plans for the 2023 Governor's Fishing Opener. None of this, Stroman said, should change the things that matter most. The really fun thing about the fishing opener is knowing that you are carrying out a tradition with friends and family, alongside hundreds of thousands of other Minnesotans, she said. Missing out on the traditional fishing opener festivities this year is a loss. Organizing a fishing opener weekend involves years of planning, dozens of volunteers, and as much as $100,000 in expenses for a host community. Ottertail County was just weeks away from hosting the 2020 fishing opener when the pandemic canceled the event and every other event. Organizers were able to use those plans and all the Find Your Inner Otter merchandise to host the 2021 fishing opener instead. Minnesota Hall of Fame fishing guide Tom Newstrom has been in on the fishing opener planning process, and he understands why communities hesitated this year. He had no hesitation about serving as the governor's fishing guide this year. I want him to have a good day on the water, he said. I think the political issues need to be left on shore. You go out on a boat and you enjoy the things around you. That's why fishing is so important to so many Minnesotans, he said. It's a chance for shared joy. That's what's so important to me, bringing a little joy and happiness to the people in my boat, he said. Sometimes when things aren't going really well, fishing brings an upbeat to your life. The Leech Lake Band of Ojibwa stepped in to host the governor for the fishing opener this year. Chairman Farron Jackson Sr. is eager to show off the reservation's beauty and its bounty. The Anishinaabe people of Minnesota have relied on the lake to sustain us for many, many generations, he said. Fishing and gathering, sharing the resources that the lake has provided, has been the foundation of our way of life. In our Ojibwa language, we call it Minneapolis, which means living the good life. The few past years of pandemic and politics may have frayed the bonds between Minnesotans, but Jackson remembers the stories his grandfather told about the ties that bind us together like strands of a spider web. What happens in one part of the web affects every part of the web. It's not so much about us against them, he said. We've always got to remind ourselves we're in this together. So on May 14th, at the 2022 Governor's Fishing Open, he will take a moment of gratitude and hope. So on May 14th, mark the calendar. Starting with a small offering of tobacco placed in the water, hopefully, he said, the Creator will let us catch some fish. The really fun thing about the fishing opener is knowing that you're carrying out a tradition with friends and family, alongside hundreds of thousands of other Minnesotans. Feel free to contact Jennifer Brooks. That's Jennifer, Jennifer, .Brooks, Brooks, at startribune.com. Or you can follow Jennifer on Twitter at STRIBROOKS. Let me finish with that one comment. I mean, it gives me chills, besides just thinking about the great experience in the past of being up for the fishing opener, preparing for the fishing opener, getting to talk to my dad face to face. The really fun thing about the fishing opener is knowing that you are carrying out a tradition with friends and family, alongside hundreds of thousands of other Minnesotans. And here we go. Of course, I've been in Iowa for more than 30 years, but I guess I'll always be a Minnesotan. Anyway, my name is Jim Stordahl, Stordahl. You can Google my name at any time on any social media. And if you want to chat, if you want to add some comments, you want to get on my podcast, you want to listen to my podcast, here's a new idea for this year. I just booked a job as a wedding officiant. Maybe I'm going to see some of you at a wedding sometime soon. The booking I just set up is for June 11th here in Indianola, Iowa. And hope to hear from you in the future. Bye-bye.